Nigeria's Senate Committee on Finance has criticized the federal government's handling of budget implementation. Lawmakers say repeated extensions of capital spending have created overlapping budgets since 2024. Now, at a session on the 2026-2028 Medium Term Expenditure Framework, senators noted that Nigeria is currently operating both the extended 2024 budget and the 2025 budget simultaneously. Now, they argue this undermines fiscal discipline and call for a return to the January to December cycle. Now, Finance Minister Wale Edun explained that revenue shortfalls have necessitated rollovers with over 10 trillion naira realized out of the 40 trillion naira projected for 2025. Committee members urged more realistic targets and stronger revenue collection. Now, Chairman Sani Musa assured that steps are being taken to restore the budget circle in 2026, while an ad hoc panel will work with the Finance Ministry to address outstanding payments to contractors. Take a listen.
Right now, funding is fully available for the 2024 capital budget that has been finalized and is in the gateway up to September. Funding is available for a portion, and the other portion, the plan is to roll it over to 2026 budget. Likewise, for the 2025 capital budget, funding has been made, warrants have been issued, and funding is available for 30% of that budget, with the plan, with the cooperation and the support of the National Assembly to roll over the 75%. When we look at borrowing, we have roughly 152 trillion naira outstanding. And that figure was about 70 trillion naira in 2023 or so. But what accounts for the difference? 30 trillion, as we all know, was the bringing into the light, bringing into the books of the government.
Well, joining me to discuss this and more is Jide Ojo, is a political affairs analyst and development consultant. It's great to have you again, Mr. Ojo. Thank you for your time. Let's get straight to it, but let's start with, will I call it the shortfall, revenue shortfall, of about 10 trillion naira in lieu of the 40 trillion naira projection. And I'd like you to speak on this when it comes to what some have tagged realistic targets. What's your take?
Thank you very much, for compliments of the youth. You see, our political elite has turned budgeting into a voodoo of sorts. And I'm really very disappointed in President Bola Tinubu because, given his background in accounting and auditing, I think he could do better. One of the things that stands to the credit of the former president, Muhammadu Buhari, was restoring Nigeria to January to December fiscal year. Today is 18th of December. The budget for 2026 has not been presented. In fact, I just heard it on news this evening that the president wrote that he will present it at 2 p.m. tomorrow. And the Muslims within the National Assembly are kicking that 2 p.m. is the time they should go for Jumat. And as such, the president will have to shift ground. And I would expect that the president would have been sensitive as a Muslim himself. But that's on the marginal note. Now, when President Bola Tinubu was telling us in September that the revenue projection for this year has been met, the revenue projection for the entire 2025 has been met as at September 2025. What did he mean? Was he just trying to pull wool over our eyes? Now we are hearing of shortfall. We are hearing of rollover of 2024 capital project was rollover into 2025. 2025 and 2024 will now be rolled over in 2026. That is untidy. In my own estimation, it's very untidy. And the president encouraged this impunity when both the 2024 budget and 2025 budget were based on projections that are not realistic.
You said the projections were unrealistic. Why is that?
Yes. Well, because people will tell you that budget is an estimate. It's purely an estimate. You cannot be too factual. You cannot be concise. You cannot be on point with budget.
But his projection then was to broaden the, what I call it, revenue net. Part of it includes taxation amongst a plethora of other things that he hoped will bring in money.
No. Don't let devil's advocate, Zakwo. The point is, if the president said the revenue projection for 2025 had been met, why are we now hearing of only 30% of the capital projects have been executed in 2026? So 70% will be rolled over to 2026. Is it that there are no projects to be done with the money? Mr. Wale Edun was also talking about the debt portfolio that have substantially increased. Several times, this president has gone a borrowing, both from domestic and international markets. In fact, they always relish in the fact that the Eurobond offer has been oversubscribed. This is despite the fact that they removed fuel subsidy and floated the naira. And they said that was the best thing, those were the best thing after the birth of Jesus Christ. Now, with the subsidy removal, with the floating of the naira, with the several borrowing, with all the so-called exceeding of revenue projection, why are we still owing contractors? Why are we not being able to do the capital project as scheduled? And I will find one of the excuses here. Each time the president submits a budget, the National Assembly goes ahead to increase the budget by trillions in the name of zonal intervention fund, or what they call constituency projects. You will hear, not from the president's mouth anyway, but from many analysts, that this is a dangerous path to tread, where you are not sure of happy income, and then your National Assembly will infuse over 7,000, 6,000, 5,000 constituency projects that are not costed. Constituency projects that are largely supposed to be under local government purview. Let's take, for instance, street lights. They will say they want to do street lights in community A, B, C, and D. They want to dig borehole in community A, B, C, and D. Is street lighting and borehole within the purview of the federal government? Are these things not supposed to be done by local government? I mean, street lights and borehole and grading of rural community roads. So when politicians continue to pad the budget exponentially, not just by 500 million, 50 billion, we are talking of trillions. Recall that last year, Senator from Bauchi North, what is his name now, raised an objection about what he got as his own zonal intervention fund that it was too paltry compared to what his colleagues were getting.
All right.
And that at the end of the day, he was sanctioned and suspended because they said he put the Senate in bad light.
Mr. Jide Ojo, I know that we have a lot to say, but we're also racing, against time. We'll go on our final break. When we return, I'll be taking what you project, looking at what we are seeing on ground right now, ahead of 2026, financially, in terms of the budget. What do you project, for the nation? Stay with us. We'll be right back. Jide Ojo, thank you so much for staying with me. Of course, before we go, I'd just like you to respond to my final question in about 30 seconds. Looking at our debt profile as a country, and also some of these challenges that the finance minister has raised as regards, our expenditure, our revenue targets, and all of that, what do you project, or what do you consider a climax economically for the nation ahead of 2027? 2026.
Ironically,
2026.
Even though you are trying to make me a Nostradamus, which I am not, I cannot be. I don't know tomorrow. But given what the MTF that was passed yesterday by the National Assembly, I'm talking of Medium Term Expenditure Framework and Fiscal Strategy paper. Again. Some of those projections may just not be it. Recall that part of the projection for 2025 was that we are going to reduce inflation from about 24% to 15%. And well, they were able to achieve that through what they call rebasing. And that's by the National Bureau of Statistics. If that rebasing did not happen, I don't think we will have been talking of 14-something% of inflation, because to my own mind, inflation is still far higher than 15%. And yes, that was the projection for 2025. They are talking of revenue and crude oil being sold for, I think, $60 or $65 per barrel. And there have been a lot of fluctuations in the year 2025, arising from Ukraine, Russia war, the problem in Gaza, and some other challenges. And we know that these things will always happen. So why are we not, why are we allowing our currency to still be dollarized? Because everything is, you are basing your economy on dollar. Dollar has been our even though we don't spend dollar here as a national currency, but yet everything we do in terms of budget is still being on the basis of exchange rate of naira to dollar.
All right, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having this conversation with you. We wish we had more time, but this is what time permits at this time. Well, Jide Ojo, political affairs analyst and also development consultant, once again, thank you for your time.